Well, it all started with Jimmy Kimmel saying this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Okay, so Jimmy Kimmel lied. I mean, it's possible that he is in such a far left silo. If he read Reuters, if he read the New York Times, at least before they corrected themselves, if he reads the same stuff that Lawrence Tribe, the former Harvard law professor who is revered by the far left and the left, I don't know, though. I just don't find it plausible that Jimmy Kimmel didn't know that he was lying and trying to attack Trump. Regardless, he literally spoke complete false, demonstrably false things about a political murder that has riveted the nation and the world. So, some people are going to say this about free speech and all this stuff. Well, it is actually, but your speech has consequences. Now, I've not called for him to be canceled, but you have two major broadcast companies tonight that are saying that they're not carrying him. And together, these two companies, Sinclair Media, which came out shortly after Nexstar is based here in DFW where I'm at. Sinclair, I don't know where they're out of, but Sinclair owns 24 ABC television stations. Apparently, they're in major markets. Then you have Nexstar, which owns a whole bunch, some of which may be in major markets as well. The point is, if you take the ABC affiliates that Nexstar owns and Sinclair owns, that's 80% of ABC affiliates. You literally would lose 8 out of 10 stations that carry you. ABC News and Disney, ABC and Disney, could not tolerate that, and so they have indefinitely suspended Jimmy, which I'll get to in a minute because he is insanely crazy. This is going to be wild and fun to watch. Get out your popcorn. But first, let me share what Sinclair Broadcast said today. Kimmel needs to make a meaningful personal donation. This is not the word for word, but Sinclair says that they will not consider bringing him back at all until he makes a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA, as well as a direct apology to Erica and the kids. Erica, the widow of Charlie, of course. Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment for our country. And that's true. He blames MAGA, which Charlie Kirk was MAGA and got Trump elected, many say, rightfully so, in this last election. He blames Charlie Kirk for his own death because Charlie Kirk was MAGA, and Turning Point USA is MAGA. It was false and it was sick. He's lying, and they are a broadcast. If some people don't understand the difference, ABC is a broadcast network. Broadcast is licensed by the FCC. I have people even in my own business at my former radio station here in Dallas that were saying, well, the FCC, with my social media post. People literally in the business that I'm in don't even know. The FCC does not regulate cable. The FCC does not regulate social media. That's the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. The FCC, in their wildest dreams, if they wanted to regulate anything on social media, cannot legally do that. So the only thing, and cable news, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, none of them are cable regulated, or FCC regulated. So that's why this is exclusively happening to ABC right now, because they're lying and it's demonstrably false, and they're not correcting a demonstrably false thing. Nexstar said Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. We do not believe they reflect the spectrum. By the way, Nexstar hires Chris Cuomo, for example. They're not. They seem to be truthfully middle of the road to me. They want to make money. Nexstar says we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of our opinions, views, or values of the local communities which we are located. That's legalese terms. The values of the local communities. That's literally FCC legalese. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform, Nexstar says, in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move forward with the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue. Now, the other thing is, I didn't know this till tonight, the ratings pecking order, Greg Gutfeld beats all the late night shows. He is the number one late night show. The number two late night show is Colbert, which is losing $40 to $50 million a year. There's no way anybody would keep that show on, and regardless of whether he's conservative, liberal, or in the middle of the road, it doesn't matter. And by the way, Jay Leno rightfully said when Colbert got canceled, Jay Leno rightfully said, why would you alienate half of your audience? He says he knew he was doing a great job when he had people say you're a liberal, you're attacking conservatives. He knew that then the next week he would get you're a Republican, you're attacking liberals. That's exactly right. Comedy does not know politics. Comedy makes fun of all politics, and that makes me laugh. Just make me laugh. That's all. Just make me laugh. I don't care if you rip on Trump. Make me laugh. Not not trying to start out with the premise of I hate Trump, let's make comedy. That's one of the reasons why SNL has become so non-funny most of the time. Most of the time. Probably 60 to 80% of the time, I would guess, if not more. They're not funny. But FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said this. He called Jimmy Kimmel's comments some of the most sickest conduct and suggested they were potential avenues. There are avenues the FCC could pursue. In some quarters, there's very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people about the nature of one of the most significant newsworthy public interest acts that we've seen in a long time, and what appears to be action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative, that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican-motivated person. He's literally lying to the country on regulated broadcast television. He's spreading direct falsehoods about why Charlie Kirk was murdered. And it's a license. It's regulated by the FCC. Now, Jimmy Kimmel is furious. I love this. I love it. This is funny right here. What I'm about to tell you is funny. The source is this from the Daily Mail. Jimmy Kimmel goes nuclear over ABC canceling. The network executives, he had a network executive meeting. Says he is keen to break his relationship with them forever. Is already teeing up a guest slot with soon-to-be former CBS star Stephen Colbert. They can both cry. A source told the Daily Mail, quote, Jimmy is pissed over the decision to suspend him and the show, and he isn't going to take this lightly. He is actively looking for ways to get out of his contract. That's fine. This is the last straw. They don't want Trump to win in any way or fashion at all, and this has lit an extreme fire under Jimmy's ass to continue to tell it like it is and be his real self. Good, you can do that on the YouTube channel, and I'm sure he'll do well and make great money, probably more money than he makes at CBS or ABC, wherever the heck it was, ABC. There's no such thing as absolute free speech in America. Excuse me, this person saying that Jimmy is absolutely effing livid. This is clearly the government overreaching. There's no such thing as free speech in America. Yes, there is, but free speech has consequences. And those companies can do what they want. Would Jimmy Kimmel force Sinclair and Nexstar to carry his show, just like the Dixie Chicks and their fans tried to force their Dixie Chicks? The liberals tried to force country music stations to carry the Dixie Chicks after they insulted President Bush from overseas. Jimmy Kimmel, quote, didn't even say anything, that one of his advocates told the Daily Mail, didn't even say anything that bad, but even if he did, that's freedom of speech. Yes, at a cost. Look over all the S word that they're saying on Fox. Look at what they're saying on South Park. They're cable, dude. You're on broadcast. FCC can't touch those two. This is persecution. They think they're being persecuted. These are not broadcast outlets. Hello? Hello? Anyone home? Hello? This is persecution, and Jimmy isn't going to stand for it. Oh! Hello! He's got a lot of friends who... Hold on. I didn't even say anything funny, but that's okay. Jimmy's not going to stand for it. Where is that? Here we go. Wait. Hello! Hello! You're fired. Hello! He'll get every friend. This is great. Jimmy's not going to stand for it. He has lots of friends who are going to cause problems if suddenly he doesn't have a show. This will be great. Get your popcorn. He'll get every friend he has to stop doing ABC shows. You want to book someone on the View? Good effing luck. How effing dare they? As pissed as off as I am, you can only imagine how Jimmy is. He's beside himself. I've never seen him be this angry. It's ever. It's bad. Trump is president, and he's laughing. He's loving this up. He told Seth Meyers and not Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and who's the other late night guy? But he had on Gutfeld, so I give him credit. I can't remember his name. Who's that guy? Jimmy Fallon. No, yeah, Jimmy Fallon. Trump went after Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Now, I don't know about Jimmy Fallon, but I don't know. But he seems to be a nice guy. And he had on Greg Gutfeld lately, so I don't have an axe to grind against. Seth Meyers hates. I can't watch him either because he just hates Trump, and it's always about hating Trump. He has a nightly segment attacking Trump called A Closer Look. Good luck. You can look really closely now because Seth Meyers has to be crapping his pants. He's got to be so nervous when he's holding his papers tonight because Trump called him out and said, "You're next." Oh, and before you say that Trump is doing this, he's not. He can't. You know who's doing it? Sinclair and Nexstar. And are you going to tell a company what to do? Would you tell the company that makes this microphone what to do? Would you tell the company the company that makes the TV over my shoulder what to do, that makes this T-shirt, this band? No. So companies get to do what they want. Now, if you want to live in Russia or China or North Korea, then you can tell the companies what to do. I don't want to live there. Or Venezuela. Now, this is something I wanted to share with you. And by the way, ABC's Matt Gutman had a faux apology, and says he regrets humping the leg of the accused terrorist murderer. I played that for you in yesterday's podcast. He said it was so touching with the gay accused terrorist murderer and his gay boyfriend who's transitioning to be a woman. So touching. He was trying to protect his gay lover. He said he was trying to protect him, referring to his gay lover who's trans. He kept calling him my love. The reason for doing this is to protect you. So there's this heartbreaking duality. He's so hot for gay love that he wants to So Gutman got in a lot of trouble, and he wrote a fake quarter, not even a half-hearted apology, a quarter-hearted apology by saying he deeply regrets. Of course he's bad, but I'm a sucker for gay love stories is basically what he was saying, you know. As a liberal, he's got to give credit. The gay love story is more important than the terrorist killing a national and internationally known political figure. You know, Charlie Kirk debated at Oxford, and he whipped their asses over there. Beautiful if you saw that. The Daily Mail reporting this about the alleged gay terrorist killer, Charlie Kirk. Quote, Charlie Kirk suspects disturbing secret kinks. Sickening cache of porn searches revealed his pedophile friend and furry shades of gay game. I'm just going to read you some of the highlights from this article because this gives you more information into the depths of depravity that this accused terrorist killer appears to have gone to. Reportedly was in these depths. He played a pornographic online game called Furry Shades of Gay and followed artists who drew explicit cartoons associated with pedophilia. His account that he was using, according to the Daily Mail, showed that he recently watched content created by a user called Red Rusker. Red Rusker went too far even for the furries. In 2023, he was embroiled in a scandal among the niche community when underage porn cartoons he had drawn resurfaced. One depicted a large, older humanoid animal using recreational drugs to have sex with a small, younger humanoid possum called Snack, labeled as being age 8 in the depraved comic. A redacted image viewed by the Daily Mail shows one older character saying to another, "Popper him up for me, it'll help," apparently referring to giving drugs to the 8-year-old possum character. Furries call the pedophilia-related content cub porn. So this is what his account had recently watched, this kind of material from this kind of an artist, at least. Red Rusker, the account he had recently viewed, has more recent porn cartoons, including pieces dated in 2024 depicting still large humanoid animal characters having sex with much smaller, boyish-looking characters. This appears to be a way, obviously, of having child porn. which is satanic, the purest form of evil, and makes me and you very angry and gnash our teeth and want to punch our fist through this, through this desk. And I just, even thinking about it makes me angry. A dog, he also had, this guy who he was watching, according to the Daily Mail, had a dog character performing a sex act on a horse. He also appeared to be friends with another porn artist making deviant cartoons of absurdly fat women being fed. He left a comment on a Steam profile of that artist in January 2024, writing, quote, "He beats me when mom goes on her work trips," with a punctuation resembling a crying emoji. So this is a very, very, very deeply mentally disturbed person. I wouldn't be surprised if all this stems from possible childhood sexual abuse. I don't know. But to me, in what tiny little I know about these kinds of disgusting things, is that oftentimes people that molest, rape, or do vile sexual things often were victims as a child of vile sexual things. But we'll see how that plays out. Now, speaking of horrific and vile sexual things, I've been learning a lot. I've told you that I work in between my radio and television fill-ins and my podcast, which actually takes a lot more time than I thought, and I still admit, but I still love it. In between that, I also work with a Christian ministry called Thrive Counseling Services, and what they do is they give biblically licensed biblical counseling, licensed practicing counselors that give biblically based counseling to women who are survivors of sex trafficking, to homeless women, to women who are victims of sexual assault. The majority of the women they minister to are sex trafficking victims. And these women grow up oftentimes being sex trafficked as children. They grow up thinking it's their fault. They grow up marrying or getting boyfriends in high school or out of high school who sex traffic them and beat them. And when they're finally getting the help they need, they go into great homes, Christian ministry homes like Exodus Ministries, God bless them. My mentor, who was my Sunday school teacher for 8 years at First Baptist Dallas, my wife and I just had lunch with he and his beautiful bride. We love them deeply. He's the mentor I prayed for and wanted all my life. When I told him about this, he goes, I give to Exodus Ministries. I was like, wow, it's a very small world. And it's very awesome to hear that. It made me feel very good. But I want to show you, for North Texas Giving Day, I always donate, and I always tell you who I think you should donate to, or at least I tell you who I donate to, and I ask you to do it too. There's a match, so your donation will be doubled, and this is it. North Texas Giving Day is now, so you can give right now. Please do give right now. I don't care if it's $1, $5, $10, $20, $100, $200, $1,000. Please give now. Here is how you can do it. This is a new one to show you today. You can just scan that QR code. Okay? Scan that QR code right now on your phone, and you can do that. The other way to do it, I'll give you another piece of information in just a second. If you don't want to scan the barcode like that, the QR code to donate. And you can see here that they Thrive serves survivors of sex trafficking and exploitation, homeless women and children. And $25 gives one child an hour of play therapy. $100 gives an hour of professional counseling. $1,000 gives 1 month of family counseling for a mom and a child. We're at $3,000. We need to get to 10. Please help us with that. That's nothing compared to many of these other ministries and groups that are on North Texas Giving Day. So this is the one. I'll show you a different graphic that'll help too. This is at the top here where it says Mrs. Crock and I donated to Thrive Counseling for North Texas Giving Day. You should too. Text Thrive99 to 53555. You can do that. Text Thrive99 to 53555 to help rebuild women's lives. Okay? So you can text Thrive99 to 53555. That's Thrive99 to 53555. Or scan that QR code that I put up. Okay? Thank you for your attention on that. I'm going to be doing live shows throughout the day today as well for North Texas Giving Day, and urging you to donate as well, okay? So stay tuned for that. Now, Governor Spencer Cox, who I've been praising, turns out is like the worst rhino you can find. He's worse than being a rhino. Now, he I still contend he's performed wonderfully under the circumstances. He really has. But he's woke. He's a woke, barely even a rhino, because this is from the Federalist today. Cox said in an interview on CNN, he gave CNN the clip that they've been looking for from a Republican. Charlie Kirk had said some very inflammatory things. There you go. Thank you. It's Charlie's fault. They're going to take that and run with it. But previously, he has done the pronoun game. In 2021, he used his preferred pronouns. He said, "My preferred pronouns are he, him, and his." He said, "Leading with equity and inclusion starts at a young age." So he's woke. He's a super woke guy. He also had his preferred pronouns on his Instagram bio for a while. But here's the possibly the worst thing he's ever done. In 2022 spring, he vetoed legislation seeking to bar trans-identifying men from competing in women's sports. He vetoed it. The legislature passed it, saying we got to keep men out of girls' sports, boys out of girls' sports. He vetoed it. The legislature overwhelmingly overrode his woke veto. You sick bleepity bleep. So, boy, do I regret saying nice things about him. I mean, I still have to admit he's done a very good job with handling the crisis. But no, you got to know what you got to know. Mahmoud Khalil. Saddam Hussein, jihad. Mahmoud Khalil is going to be deported. And the judge just ordered him, a Louisiana immigration judge just ordered him to be deported to either Syria, his hometown, his own country, or Algeria. Woohoo! Hold on, I got a little sound for you on that one. Hold on, where did there it is. Here we go. Yeah, you're going to Syria. You want a new all-expense trip to Syria?
Oh, Hercules.
A new car. No, you don't get a new car. It's because, and by the way, I have a listener who is who likes me and likes most of what I say, but also is like always asking questions, and they're always and this listener's like, well, it's not another attack on freedom of speech. And I'm like, dude, he lied on his green card application. Omitting things that will get you not approved for a green card is lying. He failed to disclose certain information on his green card application, the Politico reports. His lawyers suggest the appeals process will be swift and unfavorable. He has 30 days from September 12th. So he's already lost 6 days. So he's got like 24 days left, and he's out of here. And the appeal he is doing for his deportation hearing is, by the way, this is due process, is the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which is based in New Orleans, which is our conservative appeals court for our district in the United States of America. And I'm out of Texas. It's our appeals court district. I couldn't be happier. If the Secretary of State determines, with Marco Rubio, which he did, that the person's continued presence harms U.S. foreign policy interests, and he does. He was literally heading and passing out Hamas flyers, Hamas propaganda. In fact, they pointed to him in his protest. A Jewish captive who has been freed came and spoke at, I think it was Columbia or Harvard or one of them, and was on the media saying literally the terrorists were pointing to him in his protest, saying that he was saying what they wanted him to. So they literally are watching him, and they provide him the information that he prints out and hands out to radicalized leftist students. He is a threat to this nation and a threat to our national interest and Israel. And he is a Jew-hating, anti-Semite Hamas lover. When he applied for a green card, he failed to disclose all of his past employment and membership in certain organizations. He literally didn't say some of his employers and membership of his organizations because he knew that they were affiliated with pro-terrorist types and would not be allowed into this country. That's why he lied. You lie, you're out of here. You do things against our national interest on a green card, you're out of here. I love it. Thank you, President Trump. Trump also is going to designate probably today Antifa as a major terrorist organization. And I think that's awesome because they are a major terrorist organization. And what that means is we're going to dry up all their funding. We're going to flush them out, and we're going to cuff them and stuff them. Can we drone them? That's a joke. But it's a nice joke. Oh, it's a nice joke. Wait, hold on. Hold on, here we go. They blow up so young. you know, 5 police officers shot, 3 dead in Pennsylvania, FBI investigating. The one thing I want to say about this, 5 police officers shot, 3 dead. If you think you know and tell me what you think right now, what is the deadliest police call a police officer can get? What's the call they get? They got to respond. We got a call of a blank. You got to show up. What's the deadliest call they can get? Domestic violence. Domestic violence will go from 0 to 60 in a split second. It gets cops killed a lot. It's the deadliest call they get. Now, probably 80 to 90% of them don't have anything like that happen, but it's the 1 to 5% that do that gets them killed. I will never forget. I'm so proud. I'm not proud. I'm so happy that I can still remember her name, her face. Jillian Smith, Officer Jillian Smith, loved policing. She went to school for policing. She dreamed of being a police officer. She graduated from, I believe, UT Arlington. She was an Arlington police officer. She was on the job for 1 year. She responded to a domestic dispute and was shot and killed that beautiful woman, that beautiful, strong woman. And her church just honored her, and she was a godly woman. And I will never forget Officer Jillian Smith as long as I live.